Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Chronically Me podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Esther, and in today's episode, we are talking to an expert on creativity. My friend Heidi is here with us to talk about how she uses creativity in chronic illness, and she has some great advice for us, and I'm so excited to share with you our conversation today. If you live chronically ill like me and are looking for more purpose, control, and joy in your life, then you are in the right place. This is the podcast that challenges your thinking around chronic illness so you can live the most amazing life despite extra challenges. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, welcome to the podcast. This is Heidi Kappert, and we're so excited that she's here. So excited to talk to you. We're going to have a conversation about cultivating creativity in chronic illness. So let's start out. Heidi, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of about your chronic illnesses, as well as just your, personal life, little things we'd like to know about you?
Okay, yeah. Hello, everybody. I am a homemaker and a piano teacher. I've been teaching piano for many years, and I really love it. And thankfully, I'm still able to, even with chronic illness. I had ME and CFS for 4 years. And then I had a 4-year, break, remission, something like that, where I felt a lot better. And then I started feeling worse again. And I was diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and vasovagal syncope about a year ago. So I've been living with that since.
And how has that been? How has that affected your, day-to-day life and the things that you were doing versus kind of how you live your life now?
I have to lie down a lot. Yeah, a lot of rest. I had to cut back on how many piano students I have. I have to cancel lessons from time to time, which is really too bad, but my piano families are awesome. They really understanding, and so it works out. Basically, right now I can't drive. I don't dare drive because of I get seizure-like episodes when they come just suddenly. So I don't dare drive. So I'm home a lot. Just can't do as much.
Yeah. But it seems like you still are doing things, right?
Yeah.
You're still teaching piano. How often do you teach piano?
3 afternoons a week.
Nice. And how long is your max where you're like, this is as long as I can go teaching in one period?
It's like 4 students, so that's 2 hours plus a half hour of prep.
Yeah.
In a row. And that's like on a good-ish day. Sometimes it's worse and I can't, and then I have to cancel. But usually that's my max. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're still finding something that you like to do. Are there any other things that you like to do besides teaching piano?
Yeah, I love to make things, obviously. Cultivating creativity, right? I'm very creative. I also love baking and cleaning and organizing.
Yes, I'm on your side there.
When you said that a while ago, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find a lot of people with chronic illness enjoy it. And I think it's this control, right? We're so out of control with our bodies. We can't control what's going on in there, but I can control that my bed is made and that there's not stuff on my floor. I can control that. And even if it affects my physical health, sometimes I'm like, my brain needs the control somewhere. So I'd rather be on the couch the rest of the day and have my bedroom clean,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'd like to thank OMBRE Lab for sponsoring this episode. OMBRE Lab is an at-home gut test that will target your symptoms by learning which gut bacteria are causing your issues and help you identify foods that you should or shouldn't eat. If you're struggling with a health issue that you just can't figure out the cause, your gut could be to blame. When your body doesn't have enough good bacteria, bad bacteria can flourish. If you're having trouble focusing, maintaining a positive mood, or low energy, bloating, constipation, abdominal pain, struggling with maintaining a healthy weight, a weak immune system, or skin blemishes like acne or eczema, these could be signs of a gut bacteria imbalance. Did you know that 1 out of 5 Americans are struggling with gut health issues because of their diet? With too many refined sugars, artificial coloring, and hormone hormone-filled fried foods, this is causing our guts to deteriorate. Thankfully, we can fix these issues with a better diet and the right probiotics. OMBRE Lab makes this process really simple by offering an at-home gut test so you can know the state of your gut health and what problems it may be causing. OMBRE Lab will analyze your results and recommend what types of foods you should be consuming more and what types of foods you should be consuming less. They also will use your results to develop a custom probiotic to help you treat these problems. These aren't one-size-fits-all probiotics that you will find at your local grocery store. These are personalized to you based on the results of the test. The test will ship straight to your door with specific collection instructions. Activate your kit, complete the test, and return it. Upon receiving your results, you will get a personalized food plan to help your healthy bacteria and gut microbiome, as well as personalized probiotics to heal your gut health with subscription. I found so much help with OMBRE Lab to show me what types of foods are harmful and good for my specific body, and to give me a personalized probiotic that helps with my situation. I have struggled with gut issues for years and years, but these probiotics are specific to me because my gut was tested to see what it actually needed. And now I'm actually seeing some improvements to my gut health by using a personalized probiotic made just for me. So if you're struggling with the health issues I mentioned and want to see if your gut health is causing the problem, visit tryombre.com/Aimee, AIMEE. This link offers $30 off your test kit so you can try this for yourself to see what is happening inside your gut. I'd like to thank OMBRE Lab again for sponsoring this, and let's get back to the episode. So how has chronic illness made creativity and hobbies harder for you?
The fatigue is like my worst symptom, I think. So that makes it harder to do everything. And there's things you have to do, like get food on, make food, and you have to have a shower, and sometimes there's no energy left for anything else. But that, and also I need to be lying down when I'm resting. So that's usually when I do my crafting, is when I'm lying down. So it limits me to things you can do lying down.
Yeah. So what types of things can you do, like when it comes to crafting? I know crafting's kind of like a big, there's a lot in crafting section, right? Some things I'm really good at crafting, some things I am just terrible at. So
same.
What kind of things are easier to do when you're lying down and you're having one of those, flare-ups or just having a lot of fatigue?
I really enjoy crochet. That's like my main hobby. And usually I can crochet. The only problems are, my arms get sore from holding it up. And if I'm having joint pain, I can't do it. But crochet, knitting would be a good one too. Drawing, painting, well, not painting when you're lying down, but you can do it on an iPad as well, or on your phone. There's things you can do like that. I'm always trying new things. So but crochet is my biggest one.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Like, I think that's key is can you always try something new? But I think especially with chronic illness, it feels like, oh, but I can't do X, Y, and Z. I can't do, my dancing that I used to do. I can't do this active thing, but we just got to keep trying stuff and trying new things that may or may not work for us. Like some things that work for you may not work for me based on my personality or my talents or whatever, right? Like we got to decide for ourselves what we like to do and we can do with our chronic illness, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes you can make modifications to make things, or do something that's similar but a little different. Like if you love to paint, then like I said, you do it on an iPad.
Yeah.
You're lying down and it's less. And the coloring as well, like that's really hard on your wrist and hand. You get sore. So try doing it digitally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I used to love to dance and I was like, always thought I'll never be able to dance again. And then I started doing yoga and it's very gentle. And sometimes I literally just lay there in corpse pose, which is just laying flat on the ground for my whole yoga session. But I'm able to do it and I'm able to still get some benefit out of it. that's in a similar way to how I felt when I used to dance. So I love
Yeah,
that. Finding something
totally.
similar, like not only finding something to do that's creative, but you have to be creative about finding your hobby, right? Like, it
Yes,
takes
definitely.
creativity to try new things. I love it. What do you do to cultivate your creativity despite all these extra challenges of chronic illness? How do you, mentally get yourself into a place where you can, get out your paints or get out your iPads when your brain says, no, like I don't want to do it today. I can't do it. I I'm too sick, whatever. How do you still do that?
Well, I think for me, at least, creativity is a big part of who I am. I
Mm,
want to be creative unless I am very, very fatigued, very ill. Then it's like lay there and rest and try to recuperate, right?
yeah.
Um, so I always want to be creative pretty much in some
Mm,
way or form. Um, I don't do it every day per se, usually, but um, yeah, whenever inspiration strikes. I
yeah.
also like to watch YouTube videos when I'm resting of other creators and things that they do, and that sparks inspiration. Or I'm like, oh, I want to try that. Oh, that looks so cool. That's a neat pattern. And then I'm like,
Mm.
okay, print off the pattern and go get some yarn and let's try this out.
I
So
love it. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna add a question that I didn't send you beforehand. So it's gonna be a new question, okay? On the spot.
no
What
worries.
does creativity even mean? What does that mean?
For me, it means making things
Mm,
out of something, you know?
yeah.
So whatever it is, baking is creating to me because I'm creating a new thing. Sometimes creativity is also following a pattern and interpreting it your own way,
I like
right?
that.
Yeah, and that's a lot easier when you're dealing with brain fog or poor concentration, which I also have. Sometimes I can't concentrate on things, and then
Yeah.
it's really hard to come up with ideas and come up with your own thing. So following a pattern is just relaxing, and yeah, you feel
Yeah.
accomplished when you
Yeah.
complete.
I love that. I love that. And I want everybody listening to think, like, what does creativity mean to you? Because I do think it means something different to everyone. Like, I used to love crafts. I want to love crafts, but every time I do it, I'm just like, I just want this to be done. I just want to be in a hurry and be done with this. Yeah, I love things like organizing, as we talked about. I love yoga. I love things like journaling, which I think all of that can be creative, and it depends on, first of all, what does creativity mean to you, and then what fulfills that creativity need, because I think we're all born with a need to be creative in some way
Yes,
with
for
whatever it
sure.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and like those things you said, those are definitely creative things, but we don't
Mhm.
right away think of that.
Yeah.
Maybe when we say creativity, we think, oh, painting,
Hmm.
making a sculpture,
Yeah, exactly.
making music. You can be
Hmm.
creative with your interpretation when you're playing an instrument, and you can compose music, and you know,
Yeah.
that's creative. So
So how has creativity helped you with your chronic illness and pain, and also how do you think it could help other people who are living chronically ill?
I feel useful.
Mm.
I feel productive. And I find that's the hardest thing for me with chronic illness is sometimes if I'm in a long flare, I start feeling really down about myself and I feel like, oh, I'm just worthless. I
Hmm.
fight those thoughts, but they do come up sometimes and I feel like, oh, what was the waste of a day? I rested all day. That's good, but I have nothing to show for it. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of human nature. We want to show something for, oh, the house is clean, or I worked today, or whatever it is. So for me, it's like, okay, I've been lying on the couch all day resting, but look, I created a stuffy panda for my niece's birthday.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest thing I think. This makes me feel useful. It also is like a meditative thing for me to do, especially if I don't have to think too much, if I'm embroidering or um, cross stitching or crocheting. There's like a rhythm to it, and usually you don't have to think too much. and counting the stitches.
Mhm.
It's quiet and peaceful, and it helps me be more calms me down.
You really made me think about how we do want to see something. We want to see something we've done, right? I think
Yeah.
that's why it's hard with chronic illness when a lot of my clients and me will say, like, I did nothing today. I didn't do anything. Like, how often do we say that? I did nothing. And it's just because we don't have anything to show. We have nothing to show, like my spouse coming home and me being able to say, hey, look, I cleaned the whole house. Or, hey, look, I made this beautiful dinner for you, or hey, look at this garden that I created in the backyard, right? We want to show that we did something for ourselves and for other people, but I think really we're doing it for ourselves, right? We want to show ourselves like, hey, I created this thing, I made more value in the world doing this. And I do think that we have that need, that this desire that we're all given to want to see a product from what we've done,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's why it's hard sometimes when you do lay on the couch all day to feel like, well, I did nothing today because I don't have anything to show. Even
Yeah.
if we did sit on the couch and maybe had good pondering time to think about things, or we were
Yeah.
able to listen to a podcast, or we were able to just rest our bodies and heal our bodies, but it's not something we can physically show. And so sometimes I think that leads to us thinking, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm not creating anything, right?
Yeah.
So another spur of the moment question that just popped in my mind. When you don't physically see something, how can you still feel creative? Is there a way to feel creative without actually doing something major, without going and doing an art project or working on your garden or whatever? My plants are already dying, so that's been on my head. I had them for a week and they're already dying, which is fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Not my good creative side, but when my plants are dying and when I forget to water them because I'm laying on the couch all day, how can I still feel creative? How can I do that even if maybe I can't physically get up that day, or I can't physically even move my finger on the iPad, if that was the case for the day?
Yeah. I think being creative in your mind,
Mm,
right? You
yeah,
can
I love that.
imagine things. You can think your own thoughts, and yeah, you can make up stories in your head. You can
Yeah,
those type of things.
totally. Yeah, I think that's right. I think there's always something we can do. Like our brains are like, no, I can't do anything right now. No, there's always something. Can you
Yeah.
call a friend? Can
Yeah.
you, like for me, sometimes if I'm super sick, I'll just write down video ideas for YouTube or podcast. Like I'm just like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to think about some ideas. And if I'm super sick, I might just like audio record them on my phone. Here's 5 ideas I came up with today for future reference, right? And even if I never use them, it's like I'm using that creative skill. I'm using something. Or for me, I have young kids, and so it's, if I just lay there next to my kids, I can be creative with them, right? Or I think that's right. There's just, you don't have to have something huge to show for at the end to feel that
Exactly. Yeah.
creativity. Yeah.
And you can, like, for me, I can like lay there and think, oh, what do I want to make next? What is
Yeah.
it going to look like? What kind of yarn am I going to use? And yeah, come up with ideas. Come up with ideas for upcoming birthdays. What do you want to get for your mom or your
Mm,
dad?
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things, and our brain just always says, at least mine does. It's always like, you can't do anything. You're useless. You're too sick to do anything today. Like, no, Aimee, come on. There's something you can do. Even if
Yeah.
it's small, even if it doesn't seem like it's this huge impact on the world, there's something I can do right now, right?
Yeah.
So, if somebody's looking for a hobby, I get asked this question a lot. I have struggled with this a lot on my own. If we're like, hey, I feel like I need a hobby, I'm not receiving that creative outlet. How do you suggest someone who lives chronically ill can find a hobby that they enjoy that serves that purpose of getting that creative side of us and can be done with our illnesses? And obviously everyone's different, but just kind of generally, how do you think someone could go searching for that?
Definitely look for something that fits in your limitations, because you don't want to over stress your body, right?
Ah,
Yeah. So if you need to be lying down, like we were talking about some of the things I do when I'm lying down, look for things that you know will work when you're lying down. If you're able to sit down, and some people are tired, but they can still sit up, even if it's on a couch, you know, you can have
yeah.
a table beside you, or maybe a TV tray in front of you or something like that. What can you do with that? You can watercolor, right? That's something you can't do lying down.
Yeah.
But so look for things you can do sitting down. I don't know if I would ever do anything standing up.
Yeah.
Bending up and down. I don't think people with chronic illness probably can do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of my garden, right? I was like, oh, I can do this.
yeah,
No, I couldn't.
that's not much.
It was
Yeah,
definitely a fail.
yeah. So know your limitations,
Yeah.
and like we said before, be creative with how you can modify things to make it more comfortable for you. Um, if there's something you're already interested in or you used to do before you got sick, see if there's a way you can make that still happen.
I love that.
You used to love doing used to love painting big things, like I'm just pulling
Yeah.
things out of a hat
Yeah.
here, but big canvases or murals. Say you're a mural
Mhm.
artist, find, you know, a way to do the same kind of art that you love but smaller.
Mm. Yeah, that's so good because I think so often we're just like, I can't do this. Like for me, the dance example, right? I just can't dance. I can't do
Yeah,
that.
and
My
then you
brain
just
just like, it's not ever going to happen. Then we realize like, it doesn't have to be that exact thing, but can I use what does dance give me? And
yeah.
what is that? It, gives me the physical exercise. It gives me, a way to move my body that feels good. It's good stretching for me. It's good for my mind. And how
Yeah.
can I use those things to find something that does work for me?
And you can also like try to find more ergonomic tools and supplies as well. So if
Mm,
you love to crochet and you're using the basic cheap crochet hooks, those can really hurt your wrist and arm. And if you have joint problems or anything like that, it can aggravate it. So you can't do as much, and then you just want to give up.
mhm.
Find a hook, research it, find a hook that works better for you. Find a yarn that is not so hard on you. I tried crocheting with cotton, 100% cotton yarn a few months ago. Not a good idea. I was in pain, my whole arm all the way up my shoulder. It was horrible. And that was only from one
Mm,
project. And I was like, okay, no cotton yarn ever again for me. But then I find yarn that works and I can crochet for hours. So
right. Yeah, I am a huge believer now. I didn't used to be a huge believer now in investing in things that make your life easier, right? For so long, I'm like, oh, I already spent so much on medical bills. I can't buy, I just got a robot vacuum. I can't buy the robot vacuum. And then I buy it and it's like, this has made my life so much easier. Why did I not do this before? Right.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
there, especially in our world today, people are always creating new things, right? We live in a world where that we have so much more convenience than like even 20 years ago. How much more do we have
Yeah.
how many resources do we have that we can use? And I think that's so smart. Like research, are there things that I'm doing right now or I have done that I could purchase or create or find that help me to do that creative thing easier and with less pain? I love that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you buy those things like you with the robot vacuum,
Yeah.
it makes your life easier. But if you think about it, it also will help you to do more of other things that you want to do.
Mm,
So
yeah.
why spend your energy on something that is not really bringing value to your life? Or when
Yes.
there's something else you'd rather be doing, like with you with your laundry,
Mhm.
like we just throw it in bins, right?
Yeah.
Don't fold it. And I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And I love folding laundry. I used to always
Mm,
get KonMari method,
yes.
perfect in the drawers. I opened my drawer and I was like, yes, I can see every piece that's in there. I would do it again, but right now, it's not worth
Yeah.
it. It's not worth it.
Hmm.
I throw it in the drawers. It's good enough.
Right. And finding what you enjoy because there are people like you who are like, I love to open my drawers and see the perfectly beautiful clothes. And I open my drawer and my husband's the same way. Like, I don't care if it's thrown in there. And what I found for me is if I would fold it pretty, then 2 days later it would be a mess anyway, because I'm pulling things out and trying to find like, and for me, that's something that I can give up. And some people it's not. And for you, it's like certain stages of your life. Let's give this part up of trying to have the perfectly organized drawers. And maybe other times in your life, you have, a little bit more energy to put to that and you take it away from something else.
Yeah.
Love
Just
it.
prioritize.
Yeah.
Prioritize whatever is making you happy and making you feel the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I recently started prioritizing washing the dishes because I didn't, and they would pile up. Flare days, it was a mess. And it got me really down. I was feeling really bad about it. And I thought, you know what? This is the thing that's bugging me the most. I need to do something about it. And so now I prioritize washing the dishes, even though I don't like doing it. And I feel way better. So that was important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And really, it's like the spoon theory, if you know what that is. We only have so much to give, and every human only has so much to give. But for us with chronic illness, we have even less energy to give. Like, we might have the time in our day, but we don't have the energy to do all the things. So, what is the most important? And I think some days for me, it changes. Like most days for me, it's making my bed, it's doing the dishes. Those are kind of top priority. And then I have days every once in a while where those aren't top priority. And I need to just set those aside and leave my bed as it is and leave the dishes because I need to use my energy on something else. But knowing, what that is for you, what is it that makes you feel good and feel the best? Because I think it's like, yeah, I'd like to do everything that all makes me feel good, but what makes you feel the best and what can you kind of get rid of, what means, a little bit less to you in certain moments.
Yeah, for sure. Totally
So
agree.
good. Yeah. So are there any specific hobbies you would suggest for someone who lives chronically ill? So I know we talked about some, but maybe just get like a little list here. So if anybody's listening and wanting to write down some ideas to trial and error is the only way to find what works, right?
Yeah, for sure. Here's some things that I thought of. If you're bedbound or you have to lie down, as long as you have enough energy for this, drawing or coloring, and there's lots of like nice adult coloring books. That's not for me. I've tried it. It drives me crazy, but some people really love it and it can be really relaxing. And like I said, you can do it on paper or you can do it on a device. Writing, you can write poetry, stories, nonfiction, whatever, strikes your fancy. There's actually a girl I found who wrote 2 books of poetry and some if it is not poetry. Her name is Mindfully Evie. And I've bought 2 of her books and they're actually really, really good to read. And if you need to hear that you're not alone.
I will put that in the description. So if anybody's wanting to look that up.
Yeah. Okay. So she has ME and she wrote these books while living housebound for I don't know how many years. She's starting to feel a bit better now, but yeah, they're quite powerful. Cross stitching and any type of embroidery is also really good because it's really lightweight. So it's not too heavy to hold up and you're just drawing the thread with the needle through. You can find lots of nice patterns and stuff online for that. Tutorials on YouTube. Crochet and knitting also work when you're laying down. And I like to look up like online courses and YouTube tutorials to learn new skills and techniques. So that's something you can do even if you're not able to actually do the craft. You can learn new techniques. And if you like scrapbooking and saving memories that way, I really enjoy the Project Life app that you can get on your phone or iPad, and you can just use the pictures on your phone and you can make beautiful scrapbook pages and get them printed into a book. So that's also very fun and creative to do.
I love it.
If you're able to sit up, I think you can do this lying down maybe too, is make greeting cards, which is useful as well, like for birthdays and things like that. So you can make those different ways. Sewing is also fun, or making jewelry, painting, doing watercolor. I actually really like doing watercolor. I've been learning that recently, and it's hard, but it's fun.
Yeah, I actually went to a watercoloring class recently with my mom, and it was so fun. I didn't think I could do it, and it turned out pretty decent. It was fun.
It's surprising sometimes when you try something new.
Yeah.
That was a really new thing for me too, about a year ago, and I was like, I could actually kind of do it.
Yeah.
So that's always really fun, and it gives you that feeling of like, wow, like I actually have talents and I actually can make something, right?
Yeah. And I've always found that, like, I think about this with my YouTube channel. When I first started my YouTube channel, I kept like trying to watch videos of people who knew what they were doing and people who made really good YouTube videos and all their advice. And I found that I didn't actually learn that much until I just made a crappy YouTube video. Right? Like sometimes you just have to try it and not do very well to learn something that either that wasn't the thing for me, or I can do this. And even if I didn't do well this first time, I'm going to learn more by, actively trying something than just sitting here listening to a professional tell me how they do it. What if I actually tried it myself? Even if I totally failed at it, at least I'll learn something, right?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And that's such a good way to learn more about yourself and learn new things, because that feels awesome to learn new things. We're always learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, some other things you can do: macrame, and also playing musical instruments. I am a piano teacher, so that's what I do. And I did teach lessons online. There's a lot of teachers who teach online. So if you're chronically ill and you love music and you want to give it a try, find an instrument, find an online teacher, and give it a try. It's awesome. Usually it doesn't take too much strength or energy, and there's so much to learn. Like with piano, it's like never ending. So it's very rewarding.
So good. Yeah, I think no matter how good you are at something, you can always learn more. Or no matter how crappy you are at something, you can always get better at it, right? Like everybody starts out as an amateur.
Yeah.
And even if it goes nowhere, like trying something and being just using that creative part of your brain, whether it ends up being your hobby that you do, every day for the rest of your life, or just is a one-time thing, there's no downside to trying something new.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah, just a few that I thought of that I like to do. And I already mentioned yoga. I already mentioned like organizing. And I think that's one of those that sounds so overwhelming and stressful and physically demanding of how do I clean my house or how do I organize? Well, what I like to do when I'm really, really sick, but I'm feeling that need to like be creative, is to pick a drawer or a cabinet that's on the floor, and I just sit next to it and I just open it up and I pull the stuff out and I just organize one little tiny space. And that has been so helpful for me when I am having a rough day and I don't feel like I can do anything else creatively. Then I love to just take one tiny piece of my home, like make it look nice. Journaling or blogging. I know a lot of, like, especially chronically ill people like to blog. I obviously like to make videos, make YouTube videos. Now there's like TikToks and all these little short videos that people make that I don't make those, so I don't know how hard they are, but it seems like you could probably make a quick little video, whether it's for the internet or just for you. I know a lot of people who like writing but don't want to write a book. So why not try a blog, or why not try just journaling or just writing short stories instead of trying to write, something big. I think we always think it has to be this big thing. I have to make this huge painting, or I have to, write a whole book. Like, no, you can just write 2 words. You don't have to do that much. What if you just made really creative book that had 2 words in it, right? Like what can you do that uses things you already know you enjoy, or trying something brand new that you've never tried? I feel like you could use both of those ideas, going almost the extreme of I've never tried this before, so I'm going to try it. And the other side, which is I'm going to do something similar to what I used to love, but, make it something I can do while I'm chronically ill. Okay. And if anybody has any other ideas about hobbies for people who live chronically ill, leave them in the comments on the YouTube video version of this podcast. And we'd love to hear what you have. Okay. Do you have any other advice you'd like to leave us, whether related to cultivating creativity or anything else?
Yeah. Related to creativity, when you choose a project, pick something that is not too big and overwhelming, like Aimee was just saying. Organize one drawer, right? Because if you take something too big, it's just gonna be overwhelming and a burden, I think. I don't pick huge projects for myself if I'm going to be crocheting something. I like to do amigurumi, the little animals and dolls and things like that. If I get something too big, it's just too much. Another thing is, if you are choosing a hobby, it's a good idea to get something that you can pick up and put down quickly without having to have a big mess to clean up or something. So some hobbies, you have to wait for glue to dry, or you have to do something quickly because there's a time thing related to it. So that's why a lot of the hobbies I've suggested are things that you can just kind of pick up work on for like 10 minutes, if that's all you can do, or 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then you can put it down again and maybe leave it for 3 days, and then you can work on it for an hour. Yeah, I also want to encourage everyone to buy Aimee's course because it is awesome.
I'm so glad you like it.
Thank you. I bought it, the old version, and I was slowly working my way through it, like you suggest, take your time. And then you came out with the new version, and I was like, okay, I'm starting over.
Overwhelming.
I'm starting over from the beginning, and I'm like, I want to get what put in new, and it's awesome. It's helped me so much. Like just yesterday, I had an emotional thing. Somebody said something to me that really hurt me, and normally I would have just been so upset and crying and just making it a bigger deal than it was with that person. And I didn't. I kept quiet, and I just thought, you know what? I bet he's having a bad day. It's nothing to do with me, what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, right? I love that idea. It's not about me.
Yeah, it's not about me. And then I remember you saying that, and I was like, it's not about me. And I kept telling myself that. And then, waited for a while for things to cool down, and we talked it through, and it's all good again. And it just, I can't even explain all the things that have changed in my thinking and the way I respond to things. So
that makes me so happy. I'm so glad you love it. We have human brains that keep going back to kind of our default thoughts, our default way of thinking. And a lot of it is, self-sabotage thoughts that we have, right? And I can't do this. I'm too sick for this. Poor me, my life sucks. Those are the things that always go through my mind. And I have to keep going back to reminding myself, Aimee, you have control of your own brain. You have control of your own life. You can do this, right? So I'm so glad that it was helpful for you. I mean, if it only helped you and me, then I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, for
because it helped me, and now I know it helped you. So we got two people that it's helped. Okay, I will link it in the description or in the podcast show notes if you're interested in the course, and any other the things that Heidi has mentioned. I will make sure I link those down below. And we're so grateful that we had you on today.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to hear
I really enjoyed it.
So I hope you enjoyed that episode. We had some great advice from Heidi. I will link everything she shared down below. And hopefully something in this podcast stuck out to you that you can use to create a hobby and use your own creativity in your own life while living chronically ill. If you could, let me know in the comments below of the YouTube video version of this podcast, what do you do for creativity? Or do you have any suggestions for us who live chronically ill, things we could try to live more creative while living chronically ill? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next episode. Hey friend, do you find value in this podcast but want to take it to the next level? Work with me one-on-one or check out Chronically Me, the course and workbook. This course takes the things you are learning on the podcast and helps you apply them directly to your life. This course dives deeper into changing your thinking, teaching you how the brain works and how to maximize your life with chronic illness. I designed this course as a companion to the podcast. The podcast gives specific, real-world examples, and the course helps you put them into action. If you want personalized one-on-one help from me, I got you. I also offer individual coaching programs where we can talk about the problems you are facing. I'll help you manage your brain and find solutions to nearly every problem that you have. We will walk hand in hand on this journey together. Check the show notes or the video description on YouTube for more information on getting extra help from me. Talk to you soon.